Hey guys, Duane Richins, door-to-door realtor. Excited to have a special guest here today. A lot of people look at us as the door-to-door only one-trick pony show, but in reality, there's lots of ways to get real estate. I am not the best social media person. So what's cool is we have really, really good social media people, and Tessa Bella is one of the best in the industry. Go to her Instagram right now, find Tessa Bella and follow her because she has some crazy content. So our goal today is to dive in with Tessa Bella today and ask a bunch of questions and literally just have her teach us the steps of social media. And also by joining us with Real, you've got someone to help you coach, train social media, door to door. We've got cold calling people and fix and flip, if I can say it right, fix and flip people to help your business just take off. So Tessa, take it away. Why don't you start with someone that's brand new? What do you feel like they should start with? And maybe give us some direction there, and then just kind of the nuts and bolts of what people need to know for social media.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. Obviously, talking about social media is one of my favorite things. I feel like I could talk about it for hours on end, even if my voice is kind of giving out on me. So the way I would start if somebody's new to social media and just kind of diving into it, I always say start from where you are with what you have. I think everyone, regardless of how new you are to social media, has probably heard that consistency is the most important piece, which it very much is. And the reason that I find so many people fail to stay consistent is because they'll get really excited, really fired up. They're going to be on social media, post all the time, post every day. And then you get really excited. You go out, maybe you do show up and post every day for a week. And then it becomes really tasking and it starts to fall lower and lower on your priority list. And then you went from posting every day to now posting once a month. And I like to call those my roller coaster posters. So you go through these ups and downs of showing up on social media. And then as a result of that, because you're not consistent, the algorithm is not going to put you in front of the right people. And so you're not seeing the results. And then what happens when you don't see results? You don't want to keep doing it. Same thing with the gym. If you're not seeing any results in the gym, it's hard to motivate yourself to keep going. And so that's why I think it's really important to start from where you are with what you have. So if you're not yet on social media consistently, especially not for your business, I say don't start like committing to an everyday post. Focus on something like 3 posts per week. And when setting out the goal to post 3 times per week, you can choose 3 simple content pillars. Something might be like a tip for buyers and sellers, a highlight of a local area, and maybe something about your personal interests or hobbies. And those could be 3 great pillars to begin with. And now when you think about it that way, that's only going to be 12 posts for the entire month. You could probably pretty easily sit down and batch out 12 posts for an entire month in a day. And now you've got that content prepared. And then as it becomes habitual, that's when you can start to add in additional posts and scale it up more and more, like you would scale anything in your business. But that way you don't go through this up and down cycle of posting a bunch and then going ghost and vice versa. Instead, we're starting to build with consistency really from the beginning.
It's funny because when I first started with my social media, guys, which I know nothing, and this actually worked. I sold 89 homes my first year, but I posted every time I put somebody under contract, every time I listed a house, and then at every closing, I took a picture and I congratulated the family that I helped buy or sell the house. And then I shot live videos maybe once a week, just talking about the market. And if I didn't have something to talk about, because I didn't know all these things that Paige is even talking about pillars, I simply just talked about a rep seat and what to look for in a buyer broker agreement that a lot of people don't talk about. And it's amazing, just that simpleness of my posting brought me a lot of business and a lot of repeat and referral client base. The other thing I would do is post, and Tessa's probably gonna laugh at this, but I would post investment properties and say, hey, I just found this 8-plex that's $585,000. It rents for $6,500 a month. Who is interested? And that was kind of my feeler posts to gather people out there. But once again, even that simpleness of posting brought me a lot of business. She's going to take you way deeper. So Tessa, dive in deeper on what you feel like and laugh at me. It's fine, because I don't know what I'm doing.
No, I absolutely agree. I think that, and this is something we've seen become even more popular, is like, I talked about this a little bit recently on a couple different trainings that I've done, is you have to think about, we in real estate, and when you're the one posting, your assumption is that everyone knows what you're already talking about. And so it almost feels like silly sometimes to post these things, but you have to realize that the majority of consumers have no idea what anything means in real estate. And that's not to call them silly or foolish. It's really just to reiterate the fact that showing up and like displaying your knowledge in real estate, displaying deals, displaying these kinds of things, it helps to build the perception to the public that you are an expert, that you are somebody who has this knowledge that they do not have. And you're starting to really paint your value to them. And so then by the time you do start to engage them and actually work with them as a client, like a client and relationship, it starts to completely change the way that they view you and the way that they see the value that you bring to the table. So I love that you brought up, sharing investment properties and things like that. What I always encourage people to do is think about who some of the ideal people are that you want to be attracting. Now, and obviously investment properties are great because investor clients can be awesome because they can essentially be a buyer at any time despite the market changes and all that kind of stuff. But based on where you are, there's also going to be different types of people that you can attract with different types of posts. Like I have a girl here, I'm based in Arizona. I have a girl here who I help her with social media, and she does model home Mondays. So every Monday she goes and she highlights a different model home at all of the new build communities that we have, because there's so many of them popping up all over Arizona, and she uses that as a way to highlight them. And now she's been doing that for so long, which I think, and I say so long, I think it's been 6 months, but she's been doing it consistently, that she gets reached out to by these builders that want her to come and highlight these properties. She gets reached out to people who are thinking about purchasing, who see her as this new build expert. She's carved out a niche for herself, so much so that even other real estate agents are referring people to her to work with them on new construction, which the first time she told me that, my mind was a bit blown, because I'm like, do these other agents know that they could also just take their clients there? Like it was sort of a funny experience for us, but it became a really cool display of how quickly you can set yourself apart and carve out a little niche of people and really start to work on how you can serve them at a higher level. And I think that that's a piece that's so crucial to understand. So a way that an agent, listening can take this and apply it is just think about doing a property of the week or an investment of the week or a deal of the week, of something like that, where you're highlighting these different properties, whatever kind of property you want to. It could be new builds, it could be investments, it could be luxury listings, depending on what you're trying to build your brand around. But the reason that this works so well is because, again, the general consumer seeing this, they don't immediately differentiate that this is not your listing. Now, we're not doing that to deceive anybody, but we're doing it to paint the picture of, hey, I'm a real estate professional. I have access to and knowledge about all of these different deals and properties, and you can help guide them through that process. And so it creates this authority without you even having to do much additional work. And then, of course, as you build up your own inventory, you can integrate that in. And before you know it, like our friend Paige has pretty much all of her deals of the week are her own properties that she's listing, because she's built up such an incredible database and so many people that seek her out specifically because of that reputation of highlighting these different properties each week.
That's incredible. How do you build people up in your database? Is it just that consistency of posting, or would you recommend going in and following certain people on Instagram? What do you recommend to build your following so people are seeing you?
I think there's a number of different ways to do it right now. And I think 2025 and beyond, we will see Reels being consistently the best way to get in front of new eyeballs. So if you want to be attracting new people into your following and then converting them into actual people in your database, you need to be posting consistent Reels, which are our short form videos on Instagram. And then, of course, we want to make sure that you have a profile that people want to follow. So when they come back to your profile, and I actually have a number of different step-by-steps on kind of how you can self-audit your Instagram, because this is where a lot of people lose potential followers and potential opt-ins, is someone sees a great piece of content, but then they come back to your profile and they're like, well, I don't even know, is this person in real estate? What market do they serve? What can they help me with? How do I what's their name? They don't even know any of these things because the profile is just not very optimized for somebody to actually connect with them. So that piece is really, really crucial. And then the last piece that I love to use is something called lead magnets. So I don't know if you want me to break down how that all works, but I'm a big, big fan of using lead magnets to actually capture somebody's information and bring them into a database that we can nurture them long term.
Yes, no, I do want you to go into that. I feel like, I'm listening, I'm going, okay, I see where she's coming from. And you guys, I have picked up so much business by doing that investment property of the week. And it's amazing how many people says, DM me, reach out to me. Here's my phone number. I want that property. I want more details. Where's it located? People are constantly watching, and you can build that brand really, really easy. Now, as far as diving into magnets, no, of course I want to hear you. I want you to go deeper into that because I know nothing about a lead magnet.
Yeah. So when I'm talking about lead magnets, there's a number of different ways that you can do it. The most commonly recognized one for a lot of people in real estate is going to be like an ebook, like a PDF. It's maybe a buyer's guide or a seller's checklist or things like that. Now, those can be great, but I encourage a lot of people in real estate to focus on something more hyper specific to where your clients are right now. So an example of that might be, let's just say, I'm going to come up with one off the top of my head. Let's just say that I want to work with newlywed couples who are looking to purchase their first property as a couple and start their family there, right? So that would be a great little niche or a little sub-market that I could focus in on. And maybe I'm going to create a guide that says 5 things to ask for on your wedding registry if you plan to purchase a home within 6 months of your wedding or something like that. Like, that's a very specific thing that now when somebody opts into that because they saw me posting about it and they download that little ebook of the 5 things to ask for, I have a really good sense of where that person is. So when I reach out to them to do my follow-up, I can make the assumption that they probably just got married or are about to get married or are on that kind of life track right now. I can start having the conversation that they're probably thinking about purchasing a property in the next 6 months or so. And so I can guide my follow-up so much more specific because I've used a hyper specific lead magnet instead of something that's just very broad of like purchasing a property. That's good. It's still a great starting place. You're still going to get somebody's contact information, but it doesn't give me as many insights as far as where that person is. So I always love to find these hyper specific and unique ways to connect with people and get to have more of these like one-on-one relationships with them through the content. And so just to give a very high level overview, because it may sound a little foreign to some people listening, basically what we do is we take a concept, we turn it into a PDF, an ebook, and I like to do a lot of the design and writing of these myself, but you can of course use tools like ChatGPT these days to create a ton of that content for you. Throw it together in Canva, and now all you need is a simple opt-in page, a landing page, where somebody can give you their email address, their name, their phone number, whatever information you want to collect in exchange for that PDF. Now, when they've done that, you get them as a lead, you can nurture them, they get that PDF or that piece of value. And so it feels like a fair exchange, and you can start to build the relationship or the working relationship from there.
Now, do you see a lot of other social media people doing this, or is this a unique niche that's going to set them apart because they've learned it from you? Now they're going to be way better off than other people, or how does that differentiate them?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm definitely not the only person to be talking about this by any means, but I would dare to say it's highly underutilized because right now, and I used to have the actual numbers on this. I used to use this every time I would speak at conferences and stuff on attention spans. And so back in 2018, I had the statistic that the average attention span was 7 seconds. I then did another talk in 2019, and I had the same statistic that it had gone to 3 seconds. I haven't got the updated, but you can guess if 2019 it was 3 seconds, we're in 2025, it's probably 0.005 seconds at the most. So attention spans are shorter than ever. And there's so much content out there. And so I find it really crucial to use this to set yourself apart, because now you're changing the dynamic of the relationship with the people who you follow and who follow you. They're not just following you to get entertained or to watch a little TikTok dance. They're actually saying, hey, I'm here because I want to learn something. And I see that you have an expertise, you have value to share. And so there's this new degree of like value exchange when you have a lead magnet. You are able to like pull out and extract people from your audience that are more serious about actually working with you.
No, that's awesome. I know, and I'm old school. I was a huge Facebook guy. I'd never really got Instagram, but one of the things I did, and I want your advice on this or thoughts, is I went in and friended everybody that had 25 mutual friends with me, whether I knew them or not. I cannot tell you how many people I've sold to from Facebook that I have no clue who they were, but we knew each other by association of these other people. And it was awesome. Now I'm seeing on Instagram, oftentimes you're going in and friend requesting somebody and then shoot them a audio or a message just to say, hey, I guess you know so-and-so, and connecting with them that way. What are your thoughts on connecting with people that way? Is it too cumbersome? Is it better just to do the lead magnets? What would you do?
I think, and I always say, I don't think there's a one size fits all approach. So I think a combination of them is honestly great. I even do use that strategy from time to time when I see people opt into a lead magnet, where I'll send them a video message or a voice note or something, in addition to them getting the actual piece of value, to just quickly engage that relationship even more. But I do also love that strategy. I mean, it's obviously a matter of sweat equity and time equity that you're putting into actually doing that. But I think that we underestimate how effective that can be consistently over time. So if you took the time to send 10, let's say 20-second voice notes, and they're probably not even that long, to people that you follow on Instagram each day, that's going to add up really quickly over the course of 365 days. And you're going to make a lot of really incredible relationships through, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or any other social media platform, by taking that initiative to go just one step further than other people do. Because other people are following and sharing and liking each other's stuff all the time on Instagram, but they're not always taking that extra little initiative to build the relationship and take it one step further. So I think that that's a really great strategy to do. Even if it's just a couple people a day, it adds up over time.
Yeah, I think that's awesome advice. One of the things that I love about Tessa, you need to go check out our Instagram page. I've told you that. Go do it now if you haven't already. Tessa, what are you up to followers-wise?
Oh gosh, I think I'm at 61,000 or so, something like that.
That is so awesome. Go follow her YouTube page as well. It's just Real Estate Tessa. And guys, there's so much that she goes deep into. I've listened to her at conferences. She's speaking at the biggest real estate bus tour. That's coming up, next week?
Yep, April 1st.
So she's flying out to that, speaking at that conference. She's got a ton of knowledge. And there's one cool thing that she's doing for all of our viewers is if you type in a promo code Duane, it's going to save you $50. She's got a bunch of courses that you can take that will help boost up your social media and get you on the road. And then she's a coach. And I've told you guys this all along. I'm a firm believer in going out and getting business, making sure you get all over social media so people see it. But if you don't know what you're doing, hire a coach. I'm going to hire Tessa to teach me social media. I've learned a ton from her already. But really, you have to be coached by the best if you want to be the best. And social media, one thing that I've known is when you post something, it goes across to hundreds of thousands of eyes versus when I knock on a door, I talk to one person. When I do a seminar, I talk to 50 people. But if you want to expose it to everybody, everyone is on their social media accounts. I think I read something, Tessa, you could probably validate this closer, but it takes about within 7 minutes, 90% of people from the time they wake up have already gotten on social media.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. I think it's probably a lot of people roll over and it's the very first thing they do every single day. I could go down a rabbit hole on why I think that's not good, but it is the fact of it is reality that so many people are spending hours upon hours on social media every single day. And though they may not be on there with the intent of like, hey, let me learn about a mortgage today, they're still going on there with the intent of that driving their decisions that they make in their life. And so if they've already, let's just say they've had a conversation with their spouse the night before, they were even if it was a little argument about how their closets are too small and, whatever. And then the next morning they wake up and they look on social media and they're seeing somebody talking about real estate. It might just be the perfect timing that falls in front of them and they're sending that to their spouse. And all of a sudden you're in the conversation of somebody who can help solve that problem that they were recently arguing about. And so, yeah, I just love the lifespan of real estate on social media. It lasts so much longer. You can stay in front of people so much more often, and it works for you around the clock. I get messages at middle of the night sometimes of people who just saw a post that I shared because they just got off work, even though I posted it days prior, and they're reaching out and we're starting a conversation then. So there's just unlimited potential of what you can do on social media.
What are 3 things, Tessa Bella, that you would tell people to take action today? And I love that you said that in your thing, because a lot of times when people get online, they don't give action items. Go do this and go do this. Tell us 3 things that everybody should go do today besides buying one of your courses or getting in your coaching program. What are 3 things they should go do to build their business?
I think number 1, you should definitely outline a social media plan. And again, starting from where you are with what you have. So if you're not posting consistently, start with the goal of 3 posts per week and map that out and plan it out for at least the next week in advance. You can really plan that out for a month in advance and then not have to worry about it too much. Number 2 is I would always make sure that when you're creating content, you're also putting it through the frame of what's in it for me from the consumer's perspective, because so often consumers are viewing content like, okay, what does this mean for me? What could this mean for me? They're always going to be viewing it from that perspective. And so even if you are sharing something real estate related, let's say a market update, the best thing you could do to end that piece of content is, here's what this means for you if you plan to sell in the next 6 months, or here's what this means for you if you plan to be a buyer in 2025, or, something where it puts it into the frame of here's how this actually impacts you, viewer. So that's number 2. And number 3 is start to learn and take the time to create lead magnets and use those in your business, because it will be a constant and consistent flow of new opt-ins and people into your database.
That's awesome. So once again, you'll find her on YouTube, Real Estate Tessa, and then on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle?
My Instagram is just Tessa Bella. So my name, but with double A's. So TessaABELLAA. I know it's the most obnoxious thing, but somebody took my real username. Okay. So I have to have the extra letters in there. It's the worst.
Well, bottom line, as soon as you type in Tessa, she is huge on there. And so she'll pop up anyway. What is your website where they can go in and type in the code Duane, DUANE, to save that $50 off your courses?
Yeah, so I can definitely shoot it over to you so they can type that in, because I want to make sure nobody gets it wrong. But it is also the same one as my username. So tessabella.com with the double A's. They should be able to get straight there and see access to all of our different programs.
Can they link that from your Instagram page? I'm sure you
Yeah,
do.
it is also in my bio. So that's why I always say people, the best place to find me is on Instagram, because you can shoot me a message. It's really me on there. You can find all my different programs. You can kind of binge the content and learn a ton of stuff.
Awesome. And she responds super quick. So guys, make sure you shoot her a DM. Tessa, thank you for being on. We're going to bring you back and go deeper. We'll set up kind of a schedule to frequently do this and take you a little bit deeper so that you can dive into social media. This is a huge way to sell a lot of real estate, to get your name known, to become looked as the professional. So Tessa Bella, thank you once again for being on the show today. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.